everyone, and welcome back. It's Linda Ockrell-Jenner here, co-founder of the Small Business Community Network. And I'm really happy to say we have Jennifer Muir from Doula Services with us again. She's been our guest for the past couple of weeks. And Jen's going to talk a little bit more about what a doula is, what they do, and take us through some of the processes. Hi, Jen.
Hi, Linda. How are you?
I'm fine now. We've covered a lot in the past 2 weeks, and I must admit, I'm having a blonde moment today. What are we discussing this evening?
Yeah, so today I was going to be talking about my new prenatal classes. So, yeah, it kind of goes hand in hand with the doula work. So obviously as a doula, I work with expecting, pregnant and birthing couples, and also postpartum after baby's born. So it doesn't, it's not a long stretch for me to start teaching prenatal classes to really get couples ready for birth. So I was coming on today to kind of start talking about my new offering. Now, obviously, in light of COVID-19, we can't really have any in-person gatherings. So instead of launching my childbirth classes in person, I'm actually going to be launching them virtually. So a lot like this, it can either be in a group setting, so that would make the cost a little bit lower, or it can be privately like this, where you're really able to have a very customized, unique experience.
So when you say group setting, you mean everybody would be in their own homes and it'd be like we're doing. That's an excellent idea, Jen, because basically you still need to help the mums and the dads. So if you can do it virtually. Now, what kind of classes do you offer? It's a long time since I had my children.
Yeah, so my signature class is just a prenatal class that's really all-encompassing. So you're not going to need another class if you take my signature prenatal class. So it starts off with really getting to know what your plans and what your goals are for your birth. A lot of people might not know because they don't know what options are out there. So we do go through all of the stages of labor, possible interventions that you might be offered by the hospital or your midwife, and kind of takes you step by step through the planning process, so that by the time that we get to the end of the course, you're going to really know what you want, and you're going to know how to achieve that goal. So obviously, sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, Jen. Are you talking about like if the mom wants, say, pain relief or not, or do water births exist? I don't know if is that the kind of thing we're talking about? Yeah.
Yeah. So part of it is going to be exploring your options for, either having a natural childbirth, using medical pain relief like an epidural, talking about the different birthing places that you could be giving birth. So obviously if you're at home, then you can have a water birth. You cannot have a water birth in hospital. So we do mention kind of the pros and cons of all the options that we talked about. And we go beyond just preparing for birth. I also make sure that all of my students are really prepared for postpartum as well, just because the feedback that I get from expecting parents after they've had baby is that it was very glossed over in the class that they had, and they were not prepared for when baby actually came home.
So how do you prepare them, Jen?
Yeah, so again, it's kind of going through like what your expectations are and what the actual realities are, and making sure that there's not a huge there's not a huge gap. Basically, we want to make sure that they say the baby sleeps a lot, but it's in very short amounts. So people think, oh, I'll just sleep when baby sleeps, but baby often only sleeps 45 minutes at a time when they're very young. So what is that going to look like for you?
That is so wonderful, Jen. I'm so happy that you can do this virtually and still help, because how are they going to get these classes if you're not going to be there for them? I remember when I had my first child, my husband stayed at home for a week. In those days, they didn't have paternal leave for the husbands. And then I said, well, how am I going to have a shower? I can't leave my baby on its own. I was so dramatic. And then by the time the second, third and fourth come along, I thought, they're fine, I can do it. But having, the first, I think, do you think the first is the most nerve-wracking for most moms? It was for me.
Yeah, I find the first is usually the biggest transition for parents, just because they've never experienced these experiences before. So it can be quite the shocker what the reality is really going to be like. And again, it depends on baby. Every baby has a different personality. So some babies are a little bit more easygoing, and then other babies are a little bit more work, or what I call a normal baby. Yeah, so it's just, yeah.
Do the dads need help as well? I mean, I know most guys would say no because they're very independent and I'm a guy, but do some of the dads turn to you for advice too?
Yeah, absolutely. Especially with nowadays, society is placing a lot of that support role on the partner, whereas before it might have fallen on the mother or the sister to really help with raising that new baby. So a lot of that support's on the husband, and they don't know any more than their wife does. So it's kind of one of those things where they're just as much in need of support as the new mom is.
Oh. So I guess we'll finish with another question from me, Jen, which is basically, how do we know when to call you? So basically, we're talking about the lessons now, which is great. So how far ahead should they book this? Is it called a lesson? Whatever the group.
Yeah, prenatal classes.
Yeah. So how soon ahead should we call you, not me, for the prenatal classes?
Yeah, so generally it's good to take the classes when you're between 30 and 35 weeks. That way you're far enough along that you're not going to forget everything that you're learning, but you're also not so close that if you were to go into early labor that you wouldn't be able to make it to the class.
Second thing, if you are going to be with the mom and the dad at the birth, how does this work? Because some babies are early and some babies are late. Like, are you always available? What if you're with another parent at the time? How does this work?
Yeah, so in my doula work, I always work with a backup doula. It's very rare for me to ever have overlap, but it's the same reason why I also have a backup prenatal teacher, so that if I have to go to a birth and I have a class scheduled, then I still have someone to teach my classes.
Oh, Jen, you have a busy life. I don't know how you do it, especially with children of your own. I think you've explained a lot, and I'll pass some of this on to, our daughter as well, because obviously I think she's coming up to 24 weeks. I'm not sure. She's probably reading about all these things. You know what? In my day, we didn't even have books. We were very, very basic. Just have the baby. Oh, Jen, you've really enlightened me. So for people who want to contact you, can you just share again how they can contact you for the prenatal classes and more information?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm actually about to launch my new website very soon. So by the time everybody watches this, it should be live. And that will be at jennifermuirdoula.com. And then you can also contact me on either Instagram or Facebook, and that's at Jennifer Muir Doula.
Oh, that's exciting. I'm so glad you were able to come along, Jen. You always offer me a wealth of inspiration and a wealth of information. Thank you again, and you have a lovely night.
Thank you, you too. Bye, Linda.